Hi, I'm Dr. Patricia Pelt Watkins, and I've lived in Chicago all my life. But like many of you, I'm concerned about the future of this city. The value system is off, we have a culture of corruption, and we find ourselves living in a city where there are few times and few opportunities for the voice of the people to really be heard. Now, I grew up in Cabrini Green projects, and I watched my mother fight for justice. She was a civil rights activist. My dad had been in a terrible accident, and he was unable to work. So my mom went back to work, and she went to school at night. She had only had a 6th grade education, but she went back to school at night, and she worked during the day. And on the weekends, she worked as an activist. And she did all of that because she knew that in order to bring her children out of Cabrini Green and to bring better opportunities to us, that she had to go above and beyond the call of duty. Because her husband was ill, and because she knew that she didn't want us to grow up in Cabrini Green. She taught me something. She said, Patricia, if we are to have justice, if we are to have real justice, we have to fight for it. She said, nothing is coming to us unless we're willing to fight for justice. Well, I grew up, and as I watched my mom, and I got it in my heart to fight for justice as well. And as an adult, I became a woman of faith. And as a woman of faith, I began to understand the need to fight for justice for all people and to stand up for those that are downtrodden. So I'm a certified public accountant. I have a PhD in management, but in my professional life, I'm a community organizer. And I've worked to bring millions of dollars back to Chicago for public safety programs like Ceasefire. I've organized people around the city and around the state around programs like Grow Your Own Teachers, which provides a pipeline for teachers, candidates to become teachers in our schools. And also, I work to build relationships across ethnic and religious lines through a coalition that I started called United Congress. I use my skills and my knowledge to improve the lives of Chicago families. I've developed housing for families on the west side and the south side, 48 units as the lead developer and the financial advisor for the housing development. I've also worked to stamp out corruption in state and city government by being a member of the steering committee for Change Illinois that demanded that the state put a cap on the contributions that are allowed for candidates. We've seen too much corruption in this city. In fact, there was a University of Illinois report that said in the state of Illinois, the cost of corruption is $500 million a year. Now, we know that the city pensions problem that we have right now for the police and the firemen, we hear that that's a $550 million debt that we have. If we wiped out corruption in Illinois for 1 year, we could pay off the pension debt. And that's not the only debt that we could pay off. I mean, even the hired truck scandal cost us $10 to $15 million a year for 10 years at least. It's time for Chicago to get new leadership, new voices to be brought to the fore. We cannot depend on the career politicians of the past to bring the kind of change we need. We need the voice of the people to be heard. And I have committed my life as a public servant to helping people to have their voices heard, to amplify the voice of the people. Because I understand that in order for us to have any significant change, any real change in this city is going to take the people. I think what's happened in this city in the last 2 decades, that there's been a whole lot of focus on downtown, a whole lot of focus on Lakeshore Drive, but very little focus on the 77 neighborhoods that make Chicago strong. I think it's time for the 77 neighborhoods to take part in decision-making in government. And as a mayor, I'm fully committed to open the doors of government, an open government, transparent government, and a participatory government. And in order for that to happen, we have to build organizing. We have to strengthen communities and build organizing capacity in communities. And a lot of people don't like that idea, but I understand if we are to bring down the violence, if we are to bring down the problems we're having with education, if we are to bring down this budget deficit, we need organized communities. We need people united together to make the change that we must have. And I'm willing to dedicate my life to that if you're willing. Thank you.